Hello, my name is Crystal Petry. Welcome to the Crystal Petry Podcast. Today, we are covering live the inauguration of President elect, soon to be President Donald Trump. We will go live right now. Here is the video of President Trump getting ready to be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States of America. As you can see, this inauguration is indoors, which is the first time that has ever happened since the inauguration of President Ronald Reagan. The reason they chose to move it indoors was because of the temperatures. They are in the very low teens, 10, 11 degrees, which is very cold. And they wanted to take into consideration people's health and safety. And they moved the inauguration inside the Capitol building. Once President-elect Donald Trump comes up, we will take a moment to listen in as the swearing in ceremony begins. As we are doing that, let's just put together some talking points right now. Again, for the first time since Ronald Reagan's 1985 inauguration, the ceremony is being held indoors at the Capitol building because of extreme temperatures. This marks a symbolic shift in the tradition of public presidential inaugurations, again, emphasizing public, often seen as a way to represent resilience and accessibility to the people. Whether we know it or not, affects every single thing that we do. Now we have President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris walking into the Capitol building. Right now, I have in Washington, D.C., a political strategist. I'm going to bring her on right now. Hello, Winslow. Thank you for joining the podcast. How are you?
Hello. I'm going to try to connect to my AirPods.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's see here. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Right now, we are just watching President Biden and Vice President Harris walk into the Capitol building. Winslow has been on the Crystal Petry podcast several times before. She has now become our political strategist for the podcast.
That's
So
very
thank
generous of
you
you to
so.
say.
Yes. It is the truth, Winslow. Thank you
Sorry, it's a
so
little
much.
loud in here.
Okay.
Right
So,
now, I am at the Saks Lounge right on H in 11th Street in
okay.
DC. I'm actually here with a friend, but it's Scott Greenlee is running for the Michigan GOP chair. It's with a bunch of Michiganders right now.
Okay.
This Georgia Peach with a bunch of people from Michigan.
Yes.
But this lounge is amazing. It's kind of like an opera house in a sense.
Okay.
So it's pretty close to the inauguration, but given it's a private event now, this is pretty close. But they have a nice TV screen. The crowd energy is pretty amazing. They're cheering for who they want to cheer for Trump and his team, and booing for all the others who are opposed. So the energy is pretty great.
How did you feel about the inauguration being moved indoors instead of outdoors?
It's right now it's about 25, 26 degrees. I was bundled up and it's pretty sunny, so I really wouldn't have minded at this point to stand outside for this. But at the time when they planned it, it was supposed to be at the low, like 10 degrees with a wind chill that felt like -6. So I think that they just made that decision. So yeah, I was a little disappointed, but you know what? Like we're still able to watch it on the screen. This is a really nice venue, so I can't complain too much.
And what about the crowds? Are there a lot of crowds? How is the traffic out there now?
The traffic. I Ubered with a friend from where I'm staying, Bethesda, where I'm staying, and the ride was not that bad. It got a little bit of traffic as we approached closer to the Capitol building and closer to this venue, but it really is honestly not that bad. I think people, because it's not taking place outside, people are kind of dispersed at different watch parties around the city, so it's I think that's why it's not as bad.
Okay. And what
but we do have, sorry, I forgot to mention, we do have, there are a lot of people with Trump. Oh, they're cheering. With
President Trump is,
there's a lot of Trump
he is
paraphernalia
walking in
outside
right now.
So, anyway.
Okay, but you were saying about the traffic.
Sorry, say that one more time.
I said you were saying about the traffic.
Yes, the traffic was really not that bad, but when we were walking to this venue, there are a lot of people peddling a lot of different Trump paraphernalia. So it's pretty celebratory down here.
Okay, and we can hear in the background the chants of USA as President-elect, soon to be President Donald Trump, is walking into the Capitol building. Winslow is in DC. She's reporting live from the inauguration for the Crystal Petry Podcast. Again, thank you so much for this, Winslow.
You're welcome.
What are your feelings? What are your emotions right now as the president that you voted for, that you campaigned for, is getting ready to be sworn into office?
I am very excited. It kind of is that feeling you get like when you put in a lot of hard work, and me in particular, it's outside of my actual job, a lot of volunteer hours helping get out the vote. We did help a lot of Georgia state Senate and House candidates this year, but we did team up with the Trump Force 47 to do phone banking and door knocking as well. And it's really great to be a part of this movement, really. That is sort of bringing America back to conservative values that we were founded on. And I think Trump was the candidate to do that. And so it's just really exciting to see that and to see, and to see the change that's going to occur in the next few months.
Okay. And Winslow, you are the president of Atlanta Young Republicans.
Yes, correct.
What do you think, or what are your expectations maybe for the first day, the first 2 days of President Trump's election?
Well, I do think that if we're talking about specific issues, I do think that they are going to start the deportation of the felons and criminals that came across the border illegally. I do think that's going to be a number one on the agenda. And to help get this economy started and grow and decreasing the inflation. There's a few things that if I get with you another time, we can definitely dive into the details of that. But I do think the border crisis is one of the first things he's going to tackle, and it's going to start with the people that have committed felonies that have crossed the border illegally.
Okay, and
I think that's first on his agenda.
Winslow will be back on the podcast later on this week, so that you and I can really go into depth about the first 100 days of soon to be President Donald Trump. I will let you go, Winslow. Thank you so much for going live for us from the inauguration. I cannot wait to hear about everything else that transpires.
Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Stay safe and be warm out there.
Yes, ma'am. I will do that.
Bye.
I'll see you later.
Again, that was Winslow. She is the president of Atlanta Young Republicans. She was live for the Crystal Petry Podcast as the 47th president of the United States is getting ready to be sworn in right now. And when that happens, we are going to go live. We will turn up the audio so that you are able to hear a historic time in our country. As you remember, President Trump was our 45th president, and now he is our 47th president. On camera right now, we have our brand new Vice President, J.D. Vance, of the United States of America. Now, earlier this morning, the family of Donald Trump and the family of J.D. Vance went to church at St. John's Church. This is something that happens every 4 years. It is not required of the incoming presidents and incoming vice presidents, but it is something that now has come to be recognized and expected of incoming presidents and incoming vice presidents. The church visit underscores the continued use of religious symbolism in presidential ceremonies and raises questions about Trump's administration and how it may intertwine with faith based initiatives. Again, you are watching live the inauguration of President elect, soon to be President Donald Trump of the United States of America. Now, earlier today, President Biden and his family hosted President Trump and his family. This is a tradition of peaceful transitions of power for the president. Each president does this. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden hosted Donald and Mrs. Trump at the White House, continuing the tradition of outgoing and incoming administrations. It is said that they had tea first and then got in to head over to the Capitol. Right now at the Capitol, we have President Bill Clinton is there, President George Bush Jr. is also there. They are all there to witness history, as I consider it, because every time a new president is sworn into the United States of America, that is history unfolding. The peaceful transition of power emphasizes the contrast between event and continuous political atmosphere in recent years, including the January 6th Capitol riots. Because if you remember, there was no actual transition as Donald Trump did not attend the inauguration of Joe Biden. And the two presidents right there are talking and smiling, and we are getting ready to witness history once again. Also, in the inauguration, you can see him a little bit. There's Jeff Bezos back there, the owner, president, whatever you want to call him, of Amazon. Also, Elon Musk is back there, the owner and president of X, also of Tesla and the space shuttle. There are quite a few tech giants there. Mark Zuckerberg is also there. And all of these tech giants are notable attendees, underscoring the growing influence of Silicon Valley on politics and society. These tech leaders control access to information and communication globally between the three of them, which raises concerns maybe about how their presence reflects power dynamics between the government and private industry. Now, just 4 years ago, Silicon Valley, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk were all supporters of the Democratic Party, which begs the question, in 4 years, what happened to make such a huge dynamic shift of these tech giants switching parties from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party? Also, if you do not know, TikTok is officially back. Yes, TikTok, the social media Chinese owned huge platform, is officially back up and running. And it is said that happened because of President elect, soon to be President Donald Trump. What are your feelings about this social media platform? We do have a comment. Let's see here. Queenie Williams, you are making history. Thank you so much, Queenie Williams, for your comment and for your words of encouragement. I really, really appreciate that. Again, TikTok is back. There were so many social media influencers that were very upset that TikTok was banned for maybe a day and a half. But it is back and it is said to be back because of President elect, soon to be President Trump. What are your thoughts about TikTok being banned for maybe a day and a half, and then coming back because of, it is said, because of President Trump? I would love to hear your thoughts. Let's have this conversation. And again, as you are watching, President Trump is getting ready to be sworn in once again, as the 47th president of the United States of America. One of the final things that President Biden did before today was he went ahead and issued preemptive pardons for members of the January 6th committee. Now, this is very, very unusual. Normally, there is not a thing of a preemptive pardon, but President Biden wanted to pardon the committee members that sat and that interviewed, that grilled, whatever word you want to use, the people that they thought were at fault for the January 6th riots, which occurred during President Biden's inauguration, January 6th, 2020. This is, again, something that hardly ever happens. And I wonder, how will this decision influence the ongoing discussion around the events of January 6th and its aftermath? Or will it impact? Will the discussion continue? Or will that seal the fate of the discussion? Any criminal charges that happened? How will January 6th be remembered in American history from this day going forward? Again, we are live from the inauguration of President Trump, soon to be the 47th president of the United States of America. As we are watching this, it is history in the making. Here are a few questions that I would like to pose to my audience, that I would like to pose to my listeners. I want you to reflect on the broader implications of Trump's inauguration for the nation, particularly in the context of political division, the role of media in shaping narratives, and the global perception of the American democracy. How does this event compare to other presidential inaugurations, both in tone and in substance and in atmosphere? As you are watching, as you are listening, let me hear your comments. What are your thoughts about the inauguration of President Donald Trump? Let's have this discussion now. Put your comments in the comment box below. Again, as you are tuning in, as you are watching, we are watching history unfold, the inauguration of President Trump. Holding an inauguration indoors is rare, very, very rare, with the last occurrence happening during Ronald Reagan's second inauguration in 1985 due to extreme cold. Traditionally, outdoor ceremonies present openness and public engagement, with grand visuals and the Capitol steps symbolizing transparency in governments. The implications of this, the decision to move the inauguration indoors could, I'm not saying that it will, but it could spark conversations about accessibility, especially in an era of heightened political polarization where public visibility and participation matters more than ever. As our political strategist Winslow Jones stated earlier, she was live for us from the inauguration. There are several watch parties set up all around DC and the surrounding areas with TVs and audio, video, so that people can still feel like they are a part of the ceremony. How does a private inauguration reflect broader concerns about public trust and accountability? Or does it even reflect those concerns? Is that a concern of yours that the inauguration became a private event?